It may be more likely for some teams than others, but at the start of the season, any team still could win the Stanley Cup. But how are they going to do it? We're getting close now to what hopefully will be the first full-length NHL regular season that we've had in a few years. Plus, it's the first one in a 32-team league. So let's have a little bit of fun and see how each one of these teams can still win the Stanley Cup. For the now two-time reigning champs, they may have lost a fair amount of depth in the offseason, but this is still probably the best team in the East, and most importantly, they have the best goaltender. Even with this team's core continuing to get older, and regardless of what anybody thinks of them, they do seem to just keep sticking around. Plus, it has now been a couple of years since Boston in general won a title of any kind, and they may be the best team left in the city, so why not, right? Now, yes, the last time they saw the second round of the playoffs is getting further and further away, but as long as Campbell can hold up in net and play like he did for stretches of last season, they have as good a shot as anybody. Coming off of appearing in last year's Cup Finals, they might not be favorites to get there again, but as long as you just focus on the start of last season and the playoffs, they might as well be. If anything is going to bring fans in, well, Tampa Bay has shown that winning cups will do it, even in Florida. And if they play like they have the last couple of years, they actually have a shot at making it happen. It still might be a bit early to see this team as anything but a long shot to even make the playoffs, much less win a cup, but if there's a GM in this league who could make it happen, it's Yzerman. They haven't traded Eichel yet, so at least there's that. Otherwise, really the only way I see this as a possibility is if they were somehow able to trade Eichel for maybe Tampa Bay's roster. I mean, count them out if you want, but as long as the rest of the league plays them like the Canadian division did at the end of last season, they might have a shot. But yeah, it is a long shot, and they do still have to figure out how to sign Tkachuk, at least at this moment as I'm recording. It does seem like they've been getting closer and closer over the last couple of years, and they've made a lot of moves in the offseason, plus Rod is a great coach and they've got him locked up for a while. So they might actually have a shot, as long as Tony DeAngelo can just not be a crazy person for a little bit. Oh boy. They say dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have, so I think it's time for Columbus to adopt those Cannon jerseys as their primary home and away. But seriously, maybe if Laine plays out of his mind during the regular season and can get them to the playoffs, they do have pretty solid goaltending, and at that point, anything can happen. I mean, they're probably not going to be a total dumpster fire this year, plus 2 Hughes brothers is better than 1, even if only one of them is likely to play in Jersey this year, though you can tell that Quinn is jealous of his brothers, even if he did just sign a pretty healthy contract in Vancouver. If there's a fan base that's going to take exception to me still calling Tampa probably the best team in the East, it's probably going to be this one. And as long as those Lightning can stay within the cap during the playoffs, maybe third time's the charm. They got rid of one headache, who's now Carolina's problem, and spent the rest of the offseason building to take care of another one. Plus, this young core does have a lot of talent, and if they can get things going a couple of years earlier than expected, this team could be pretty good. I mean, Ovi has to get a second ring at some point, right? Plus, the one that he does have did come against a first-year expansion team. So with how last season went, Carter Hart pretty much has to have a better season than he did last year. Plus, you know what they say with the Flyers. Every other year. Even if he isn't there at the start of the season, you never can count the Penguins out as long as Crosby is a part of them. I mean, pretty much all they have to do is just beat the teams they're supposed to in the playoffs. And maybe just to play it safe, avoid winning the President's Trophy. It may have taken a while and probably caused a number of people in Minnesota to start graying earlier than they were ready to, but Kaprizov did finally get signed, and that's a good start. Plus, if there is one team that is likely to be all in on this season no matter what, it's the Wild, with that 1-year window before those cap recaptures start to come into play. I mean, they do still have Saros, and defense wins championships, right? They do probably need Pierre-Luc Dubois to be the star that he has the talent to be, and for Hellebuck to continue to be, well, Hellebuck, and then there's a decent chance, and both of those things are very possible. At least take responsibility, and then maybe we can talk. Now, they're certainly not going to be favorites or anything like that, but the talent is still there for this team to potentially be able to make a run, as long as they can figure out where 2019 Binnington went and get him to come back. Yes, the Central is going to be competitive, but look, as long as they can avoid tons of injuries, a COVID outbreak, and a record-setting historic blizzard in Texas, then they should be able to have a better season than they did last year, where they barely missed the playoffs. Switching back to the Kachina jerseys was a good choice, but maybe let's just focus on staying in Arizona for now. If Adin Hill can shine in his first year as a starter, and they can figure out how to get that points production back that's been missing for the last couple of seasons, then that third spot in the Pacific Division does seem to be up for the taking. After last year, this does seem like a team that's on the rise, and while if they're going to get into the playoffs, they might have to squeak into it in sort of an 8th seed type of role, but they've surprised everybody before from there. Well, they did get Pettersson and Hughes signed, so now all that's left for them is to, well, pretty much just do the exact opposite of what they did last season. Now, last year may not have been Markstrom's best season, but as long as he can get back to form this year and they can figure out whatever was going on in the locker room and rally around Tkachuk, then this team does have the talent to make the playoffs and potentially make something happen. I mean, as long as shoving a sword through the back of one of the league-wide fan favorite players and reigning Vezina winner doesn't come back to bite them in any way, they should be fine. Let's see. Maybe going back to the old Mighty Ducks looking colors? I mean, it can't hurt. Just show up in the playoffs. They've got a goaltending tandem with massive potential and great defensive depth, both of which are keys to making deep runs in the playoffs. So now all that's left is to hope you don't have to score all that much to get to the playoffs. So there you go, a quick and easy way that each one of the 32 teams can come away with the Stanley Cup at the end of the 2021-22 season. I hope you managed to have some fun with this video, and if you made it to this point, thank you very much for watching. If you did like or enjoy it, there are buttons for that kind of stuff down below that I would appreciate you using. Otherwise, let me know down in the comments who you think could win the Stanley Cup or how your team could end up winning it. Until next time, stay safe out there and be good to each other.